wanted to go through the mods that we're playing with real quick so that anyone who's interested in that will know. So we got Act 1 Capes and Cloaks, which just adds some capes and cloaks in earlier in the game. All camp clothes and dyes just gives us access to all the different camp clothes and dyes. Beast and Bow is some ranger equipment that should be added to all the loot and stuff and the traders. We got a couple of those for the different classes that we are playing this evening. All these different better menus just change some of the text boxes and stuff and add a little more information. The better healing potions just buff the healing potions a little bit, but it also increases their prices to balance it out a little bit there. Those are the other better mods that I was talking about, tooltips and health bars and stuff. We're running with extra carry weight. We're trying out, we didn't use this one before, but we're trying out this choose your scores. And what it's supposed to do is allow you to modify your ability scores better than the vanilla game does. So say you want to sacrifice your strength. So you could go like -5 in strength and then put those extra points over into whatever a stat you actually use is, which is kind of how we play our D&D games when we do play in real life. We kind of just go off of a 72 point buy system, and you can have whatever kind of craziness you come up with as long as you stay within those points. The Club of Hill Giant Strength just changes the modifier from a 19 to a 20 on that. Containers Extended just gives you some extra containers like the camp supply container, and that automatically sorts some of your inventory stuff. We got some fancy dice, which you'll see later in game. Some fancy armors. The darker black hair just makes it to where the black hair is actually black. We're running with the extended levels, so we're actually going up to level 20.
Who's that Pokemon?
And in order to make that a little bit more achievable, I guess you should say, we're running with a double experience mod, so we're gaining double experience from all the different sources in the game. This tutorial chest just gives us access to the tutorial chest where some mod items are stored. We're trying this out for the first time as well. Extra encounters and mini bosses, which is exactly what it sounds like. It just throws in some extra encounters and mini bosses. This one just distributes the mod equipment into the vendor inventories and chests and stuff. Faerun Colors is just some more dye options and stuff. This one is just cleric equipment. We got more camp clothes, more dice. Since we're not doing a Dark Urge playthrough, I don't know if anybody is going to be using this or not, but we have access to the Dark Urge cape. Improved UI is basically used for every other mod. Inspiration Uncapped allows us to have more than 4 inspiration points to be able to spend. And then we got a couple more hairs added in. Being able to jump without using your bonus action, just like it is in D&D. As long as you have the movement able to spend, then you should be able to jump without using a bonus action. We got some tattoos. We got the option for Long Strider to be an AoE spell instead of single target, just for quality of life purposes, really. A new head preset that I'm going to be using. Beards, and more beards. Beards are always good to have.
Yay.
We added in more spells with the Mistra's spells. and then we added scrolls to go along with those, and then this one just adds those scrolls to the loot tables and the vendors. More hair colors, more makeup, lip, and tattoo colors, more eye colors. There's the warlock equipment. This one changes the ranges of some of the attacks and spells and stuff to be more like D&D 5e. This one allows some of the spells that have ongoing effects to be used as bonus actions instead of actions. Resources per combat is one that just allows you to take less short rests. Basically what it does is if you have something like rages, that you're supposed to have so many rages per short rest. Instead, this makes them per combat. So when you start combat, you get all of your rages back again. And that's really
that
just
makes
to
that
stop.
a lot better.
Yeah, it's really just to stop you from having to short rest so much.
Yeah, that was basically that limited the barbarian hard.
Yeah. We got some body tattoos.
The resources per combat? I don't
yeah, I
remember.
think it might be. Yeah, spell slots as well.
Okay.
We got some body tattoos, which I know I'm going to be using one and showing it off a little bit later. We got the camp night notification, so that basically throws an exclamation point above our heads as if we had a quest to do. It's basically tell us that there's something that we need to see in camp, so that hopefully we don't miss any camp events by not going to camp when we should. Slightly deadlier summons just tweaks the summons like shovel and scratch, and then some of the other like druid summons and stuff like that to make them a little more sturdy in combat. Stealth Hunter's Mark. I don't know if anybody, well, Bacon will probably use Hunter's Mark
Yes, and
quite
stealth.
a bit. But this one basically makes it to where Hunter's marking people does not start combat, and it does not break stealth, which is just a nice quality of life thing.
Convenient.
Yeah. Tasha's feats just adds in a couple more feats from the Tasha's Hideous Laughter, or not Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Tasha's yeah, Cauldron of Everything. Uncanny Dodge, it just changes it to a reaction and changes how it works a little bit. There's the level 13 to 20 mod that I talked about earlier. We got some rogue equipment added in. The Warped Headband of Intelligence, it changes it from a 17 to an 18. The weapon actions is just like the other action mod I was talking about. It makes the weapon actions per combat instead of per rest. And then weightless gold just makes it to where gold doesn't weigh anything, just like you can do in the actual tabletop version of the game. Man, that is all the mods that we are currently running with, and I don't think we'll be adding or changing anything throughout the playthrough. If we do, I will be sure to let you all know. Alright, so we're going to jump into a new game here. Radio and I decided we're going to try some custom difficulty changes instead of just doing. We usually do balanced, and honestly it started to get too easy, so we are going to do a custom mode this time and change some of the settings. So
I think my game backed out of your multiplayer.
Start with, I didn't have it open yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it's open where you could jump in. We're going to be using the honor mode rule set, which just basically changes some of the mechanics and action economy and stuff. The biggest reason we're not doing an actual honor mode playthrough is the saves. I can't do it. I couldn't just have one save. That would drive me crazy. So that's something we have unchecked there, so we can have multiple saves. Enemy aggression, we decided we're going to go up to tactician on that, which basically just makes the enemies attack a little more ruthlessly and more efficiently. I speak English very good. The power, we're going to leave balanced to where enemies and allies are at the same level of strength, because I think tilting it to the enemy's favor is kind of crazy. Enemy loadouts, we're going to let them go tactician to where they can use more spells and items and stuff in combat. Additional combat mechanics, we also decided to turn on. It just makes some of the encounters a little more complex and difficult. Proficiency bonus, we're leaving at 0. That's just the baseline proficiency bonus. Enemy crits are enabled. The no death saving throws thing, we decided was silly to disable that because we want to have to do death saving throws or else it wouldn't really matter. The free first strike thing, we decided to enable or disable, I don't know how you would really say it, but basically we want it to where if we come up on some enemies and they don't notice us, so we should be able to get to shoot them and not lose our first action in combat, I think.
Is the ambush option.
Yeah. The camp cost modifier we're leaving alone. Short rest full heal, we're leaving that alone, as well as the trader modifier. Multi-classing is available. Always prompt reactions we're turning on. We aren't positive on what that does, but we think it should be on. I don't feel like hiding any of this stuff really matters. We decided to hide the failed perception rolls though, because that's something that we are bad about. If the game tells us we failed a perception check because we didn't see like a mound of dirt to dig up the treasure, then we will just start digging around the area in order to find the fucking treasure anyways, so.
Yeah.
And the rest of these hiding things we decided don't really matter if they're on or not, so we're just leaving them the way they are.